it's no secret to anybody who watches sports. Carolina has not been a football school. But then they go out, hire arguably the greatest football coach of all time. I mean, what a story. And it really begins with the end of Mack Brown.
And breaking news this noon, after 6 seasons in his second stint as UNC football head coach, Mack Brown is out.
He has 3 years left on his contract.
He learned about it Monday, which is just after a press conference in which he told us he did not intend to retire.
I'm going to do it as long as I'm happy, as long as I'm healthy, and as long as I'm effective.
Well, how about this? Are you ready for this? We're following some breaking news in the search for the UNC head football coach.
The Board of Trustees wanted to aim for the moon.
Super Bowl winning coach Bill Belichick has reportedly interviewed for the job.
Like, I still remember when his name was first floated out.
I was shocked. I really was. And this was after I thought he was going to get the Atlanta Falcon job.
It's just like, no, this can't happen.
I didn't believe it.
I remember going to a UNC basketball game, and there was kind of a buzz in the air, and it's, you know, the wine and cheese crowd, the donors, all the high-end Carolina people, and I was talking to a source, and they're like, no, this is real.
It is official. Bill Belichick is going back to school.
Belichick making it clear he is here to win.
I've never seen that many people at an intro presser.
Bubba Cunningham's wearing a cutoff suit coat with sleeves, and Belichick holds up his dad's hooded sweatshirt from 50s.
One story I always heard was Billy's first words were, beat Duke.
I was as surprised as anybody else.
Surprised in a, okay, let's see what happens.
Surprised in a, you gotta be kidding me, Bill Belichick's coaching Carolina way.
Monica Casey spoke with a trustee about how this decision came about.
I spoke with UNC trustee Jennifer Lloyd.
I love this university with my entire being. And to see a man like him sit there on the dais and say the same things, it means the world.
We want to compete with the best, and we've hired the best coach.
They were going for the flex, if you will, of this guy, this 6-time Super Bowl champion. He wants to come to UNC.
This wasn't just covered by sports. This was on the nightly news.
Now the NFL legend is giving it the old college try.
This was being covered, from the TMZ angle.
The Tar Heels introduced this guy today, their next head football coach.
And all offseason was a hype train that even at a certain point got off the rails, because not only did you bring in Bill Belichick, you brought in his 24-year-old girlfriend as well.
Bill Belichick asking for her to be copied on emails.
Jordan Hudson shutting down a question on how the two met.
But instead, they're handling questions about Jordan with 2 O's again and whether or not she'll be allowed inside the stadium in the fall.
Are you surprised that Bill Belichick is in this position?
I watch his ex-players on all their podcasts, and they're all blown away by this particular distraction because they were told when they were players for him that he wouldn't stand for this stuff.
But, finally it's going to be football. ESPN picks it up. They put it on Labor Day night against TCU.
Today it is at a fever pitch. Bill Belichick will make his college coaching debut tonight at Carolina.
I mean, Chris, there's literally a helicopter over our heads right now. It is standing room only for media here tonight.
Bill Belichick taking part in the old well walk, the first one for him this afternoon.
This is what infinite, unlimited possibility looks like. This is what hiring Bill Belichick as your coach gets you.
Let's show you Bill Belichick on the field right now, making his first appearance, talking to some of his coaching staff.
Camera zoomed down, Coach Belichick talking to the game day crew, a former player his, Teddy Bruschi, Coach Saban, Pat McAfee.
This is a very surreal moment, and everybody knows that this is going to be a big-time game. We're excited to see what happens.
As he's walking into the stadium, UNC football players saying this is the biggest game they will ever play in, which is a thing to say when it's only week 1.
Has there been this much anticipation for a home football game in Chapel Hill? The Bill Belichick era of Carolina football starts tonight in Kenan Stadium.
What's incredible is that the first drive of the game, UNC marches right down the field, scores a touchdown, and you're like, maybe this is going to work.
Side slithered through and powered home. Touchdown, Carolina. Belichick in the heel.
It looked easy at that point.
The cuts to Roy Williams, Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor, the crowd's going crazy. And even I was standing there thinking, like, holy cow, like, this guy is Nick Saban. Like, he's going to do it.
And then from that moment,
it's all been downhill from that moment. I mean, TCU won that game 48-14.
And they had that one glorious drive. But after that, you found out that, yeah, going back to school, Bill Belichick had to learn a little bit more too.
One of the best coaches of all time, coaching in college for the first time, became one of the biggest stories of the year.
Hi, I'm Cristin Severance. I run the documentary unit at WRAL.
I worked with the WRAL sports team to show you how it all happened.
Weeks worth of stories, first time hearing from Belichick.
The process will eventually produce the results that we want to produce.
From results on the field to dissent in the locker room.
Somebody texted me and said, it's bad. It's bad, Pat.
Pat Welter has done a wonderful job.
You're going to be the highest paid employee in the state, and you're going to be one of the worst teams in all of college football.
From who was running the show.
And he surrounds himself with people with NFL experience. There's no college culture.
To who was on the sidelines. We look at how it happened, how it went, and what comes next.
And I thought it was in the best interest of the university to hire Coach Belichick.
That's a fair question to ask. How much of this has been about what was best for the kids, what was best for the school, versus what was best for Bill Belichick?
This is Coaching Carolina, the Belichick Way.
When you're describing Carolina, there's such a history there.
Yeah.
But talk about the football part of it.
It really kind of starts in earnest in the late 1940s because out of World War II, North Carolina had a great football team.
And the Fire Heels recover and Blazer recover.
They had Charlie Choo-Choo Justice and Art Weiner. And Charlie Justice in the late 40s was runner-up for the Heisman Trophy in back-to-back seasons. Hey, remember, this is before professional sports really inundated the Southeast. He was on the cover of Life magazine. I am Wes Durham. Since 2019, I've been a part of ESPN, the ACC network. I grew up around Carolina athletics. My dad, Woody, was the 40-year voice of the Tar Heels.
Snap, spot, kick away, high enough, long enough. It's good! It's good!
So Charlie Justice was my dad's hero. He was a standalone icon for many, many years. Carolina's next big football chance was when they brought Jim Tatum back as the head coach in the early 1950s. And he came to Carolina as the head coach and was building a really good program. And then unfortunately suffered a tick bite that led to Rocky Mountain spotted fever and cost him his life. And since Jim Tatum's death, North Carolina, in some respects, historians probably look at it as Carolina's been trying to recapture that glory now for what, the better part of 70, 80 years. But that's been it. There have been moments. The early 80s, I mean, Lawrence Taylor became a worldwide football icon, and he played at Carolina. And so that was kind of like the Michael Jordan of football for years. So Carolina had something to hang on to, but that's been it. And then last December, they hired Bill Belichick.
Does Belichick have any tie to Carolina?
A big one. His dad, Steve Belichick, was an assistant coach at Carolina back in 1953.
My dad's from when he coached here.
We've all seen the photo of young Bill in Kenan Stadium as a kid.
His dad was a football coach. Both of his sons coach. His daughter is a women's lacrosse coach at college. This is what this family was made to do.
Clearly, coaching runs in the Belichick family blood. And for Bill, he starts as an assistant coach in the 1970s, goes on to this 50-year legendary career.
Won more Super Bowls than anybody else.
And not just the Super Bowls, they were a dynasty.
Boomer Esiason, thank you so much for joining us. You are such a well-respected and such a big name in football. Tell me, what does Bill Belichick mean to the sport?
Wow, I'll tell you what, in my eyes, the greatest football coach who's ever walked the NFL sideline, both in building a team, running a team, and I think most people that are part of the NFL recognize greatness that still resides there.
But I think because of his dad, Carolina was a landing spot where he felt some attachment. And I think it's a fascinating aspect of this association that has been created.
His contract is fully guaranteed for the first 3 years, $10 million contract.
$10 million will get you to do a lot of things, whether you're emotionally tied to it or not.
But how they hired him is a story in and of itself.
I was getting calls from administrators in college when this happened saying, what the heck are they thinking?
When they heard this, they thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I hope they're wrong.
Mack Brown will always have a special place at Chapel Hill.
He coached at UNC in the 90s and turned that program around. And then he left.
And he comes back from Texas after winning a national title to kind of restore the program.
And Mac 2.0 here was folksy and grandfatherly.
He started recruiting the heck out of North Carolina. He landed Drake May.
He would get all the big recruits. The big results weren't there.
Mack Brown not ready to call this the low point of his career. He said he'd like to think an hour before calling this the worst day of his life.
And in 2024, they got embarrassed at home by James Madison. James Madison scored 70 points on UNC during a home game. But once that loss happened, the writing was on the wall. The week leading up to the NC State game, the media asked Mack, what's your future?
I'm not going to think about retiring. I'm not going to talk about retiring.
Bubba Cunningham and the athletic administration decided they couldn't have that. And so they fired him.
I understood the firing, but I thought it was just a little hasty.
He got to coach a final game in Chapel Hill. At that time, some trustees thought that it hadn't been handled well.
I heard a lot about the UNC Board of Trustees while producing the documentary.
I mean, these people have invested, in many cases, a lifetime into UNC.
It was clear they played a role in all of this.
They meet every other month.
WRAL investigative sports reporter Brian Murphy and I interviewed one of the trustees for the doc.
My name is John Pryor, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees at the University of North Carolina.
And while the interview lasted more than an hour and he answered all of our questions, it seemed like at times he wanted to say more than he did.
The end of Mack Brown 2.0. Your thoughts on how he was fired?
He is in many ways the single greatest ambassador the university has had, and it was unfortunate that he was let go in the way that he was.
Is that why the board became pretty involved in this search for the next coach?
No, it was not really. I was appointed to the search committee for the next football coach as then chair of the board.
So it wasn't this situation where, you know what, the athletic department messed this up with Mack Brown. We're not trusting them to find this next coach.
I got to be careful here.
But he sticks with the original answer.
The board didn't have any role in the composition of the search committee for the next football coach. The chancellor and the athletic director put that committee together.
I think everyone expected that UNC, at least under Bubba Cunningham, would hire a young up-and-coming coach.
Somebody like Jeff Monken at Army or John Summerall at Tulane, a really good established college coach.
Pryor said the athletic department hired a search firm to come up with a list of names.
Oh, they were all credible people, but I didn't think that we were trying to find the absolute best person we could hire.
Carolina, is no secret, is a basketball school. But in the modern college landscape, you can't just be a basketball school. All the revenue, football drives the bus.
They think the biggest name possible is the answer. And Michael Lombardi is letting people know Bill Belichick is interested in getting back into coaching.
Mike Lombardi, his GM, longtime confidant and partner in the NFL.
They reached out to Marco Rubio and said, hey, is there any way you can get word back to North Carolina that we're interested? And Marco Rubio calls Tom Tillis, his colleague in the Senate, North Carolina senator, and he gets in touch with Phil Berger, the current Senate leader.
Who then called you?
And he called me.
Let me just make sure I get this right.
Right.
Michael Lombardi, longtime collaborator of Bill Belichick,
Yep.
tries to get a hold of the athletic department at UNC. gets nowhere. He has to call Rubio, who calls Tillis, who calls Berger, who calls you.
That's right. As I understand it, that's the sequence. And then he suggested I, in turn, talk to Coach Belichick. In that conversation, Coach Belichick made it very clear that his sole interest was the head coaching job at Carolina, that he did not want to go back to the NFL.
And this was after I thought he was going to get the Atlanta Falcon job. And he was the #1 guy, and Arthur Blank out of the blue decided to go with Raheem Morris, which is fine. Everybody can make their own decisions. Maybe Robert Kraft warned him about certain things that he would have to deal with that he didn't want to deal with. But I'll tell you one thing, for the most part, if you hire Bill Belichick, you're getting the whole package. And I think that's probably what North Carolina was looking for, kind of like what Colorado was looking for when they hired Deion Sanders. You know, they wanted to promote football. They wanted to take it to the next level.
Well, we see it all the time in college football where the schools get so caught up in hiring the biggest splash name. I don't think we realized yet that the athletic director, Bubba Cunningham, did not want to hire Bill Belichick. That was not his guy, that these 2 Board of Trustees members basically hijacked the process. And if you hear their comments at the time, it was very clear that that was absolutely what they were going for. This 6-time Super Bowl champion, he wants to come to UNC.
Jennifer Lloyd, one of those trustees, told us, why should we be playing JV football? We're North Carolina. We shouldn't be playing JV anything. There was kind of parallel searches happening. Eventually, these 2 searches merge, right? And Lee Roberts and Bubba Cunningham meet Bill Belichick on multiple occasions. And what I'm told is that Belichick wowed them.
The credit for landing Coach Belichick goes to Chancellor Roberts, because when the Chancellor decided that this was going to happen, he made it happen.
It is official.
We want to compete with the best, and we've hired the best coach.
Excited for the opportunity to build and develop young student athletes, young men.
We are so proud of our Chancellor. He has shown bold leadership. This was his process at the end of the day.
My name is Stuart Mandel. I'm a national college football writer, editor-in-chief of college football at The Athletic. Yeah, I don't know anybody that is living in the college football space every day that thought, oh yeah, what a great idea. You could just tell by the secrecy and the parallel coaching search going on with the board. Yeah, like this isn't looking good.
My role here was just to try and get people to take seriously that Coach Belichick was interested in the job. It then fell on others to help make it happen.
But you were then stripped, or the board was then stripped of some of its power.
Yes, approval authority was taken away from the Board of Trustees after Coach Belichick was hired.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, unfortunately, there seems to be a dynamic of tension between the UNC system office and our Board of Trustees. And I don't know really why that is. Our board has only done what we think is in the best interest of the university.
Tonight, we are talking about Belichick's first comments as coach, the staff that he'll hire.
He has his friends on staff.
I mean, the Lombardis of the world, they all have jobs now.
Bill Belichick implicitly trusts Michael Lombardi, and he's in charge of building the roster.
Lombardi even went so far to call them the 33rd NFL team.
We consider ourselves the 33rd team because everybody's involved with our program has had some form of aspect in pro football.
He has his sons on staff.
Today we learned Bill's youngest son, Brian, will coach the defensive backs. His older son, Steve, was announced as the defensive coordinator.
So obviously it wasn't a surprise at all that Bill would want to bring in Steve. He was a Big Ten defensive coordinator at Washington.
His friend's son on staff.
It's also Michael Lombardi, their GM. His son is also joining, Matt Lombardi.
Michael Lombardi's son being hired to coach quarterbacks is hilarious. These state universities, not just state, private too, but like a state university that has all these responsibilities just allows these coaches sometimes to just do full-on nepotism. You know, in a normal situation, you get to the end of the year, okay, I gotta make some staff changes, I gotta let some people go. Well, clearly he's not gonna let his son go.
Jordan Hudson is going to be a name that people probably never forget, right? Like she's elevated herself as a public person in a way that few do.
We've seen a lot of Bill Belichick and his rising celebrity girlfriend, Jordan Hudson.
It's one of those stories I didn't really know how to cover. You know what I mean? If Bill Belichick wants to have a 24-year-old girlfriend, sure. But then you find out it's even more than that.
He requested that Jordan Hudson be included, be CC'd on all of his emails.
That she is actually involved in PR decisions at Carolina.
She pushed back on the way that Steve Belichick, the defensive coordinator, and Bill's son, she wanted to make sure that it wasn't looked at as a nepotism hire. So she pushed the senior administrators, media relations folks to couch it and really put forward Steve's resume.
And then there was the CBS interview, which was really the peak of it all.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Where there's this little moment where she comes in and says, we're not talking about that, referencing how they met, which has already been documented publicly. And that's when it elevated beyond a distraction.
Welcome to Pablo Torre Finds Out. I am Pablo Torre. She became the person Bill Belichick empowered to the point where he told North Carolina to CC her on every single email sent to him.
And this week, another twist in the back and forth media saga. Sports journalist Pablo Torre reporting that Hudson is being blacklisted by the university's football program.
While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the University of Carolina Athletics, she is welcome to the Carolina football facilities.
She is the partner of the highest paid employee of the state of North Carolina. There's been reporting that what she's done at UNC has impacted the outcome of deals there.
It only becomes an issue if in fact it involves the university and brings negative attention to the university.
Some would say, Jordan Hudson did do that in some respects, bring some negative attention to the university. What do you say about that?
I don't really think that's fair. They have a personal life. It should be personal. Far be it for me or anybody else to throw a stone there.
And from there, the hype train was off on football.
This much anticipation for a home football game in Chapel Hill.
And man, they sold that home opener versus TCU.
This is what infinite, unlimited possibility looks like. This is what hiring Bill Belichick as your coach gets you.
It was the single best atmosphere they've ever seen on the Carolina campus for any sporting event.
The Bill Belichick era of Carolina football starts tonight.
UNC marches right down the field. Caleb Hood scores the touchdown, and the fireworks are going off.
When it first started, it was amazing.
And they've really struggled to find their footing ever since, but we'll always have that moment, right? That one moment of belief, but football is a lot more than one drive, as we're seeing. And I think all we've tried to do is just kind of hold him and UNC accountable for how this has gone.
Offense has been paltry.
When did you start realizing, like, oh, this team maybe isn't that great?
They had to replace 70 players. Yes, you were able to win on the NFL level, but it even took him a while there to get to that level, and he had the greatest quarterback of all time to help him do that. I didn't think all hope was lost until I saw the Clemson game.
That's just a stagnant feel in Keenan right now.
This was the game. The game gets scheduled at noon. Ludacris is playing a concert at 10 a.m. And the first play of the game, Clemson runs a trick play, a double pass for a 75-yard touchdown. The air just deflated right out of Keaton Stadium.
One girl mouths to me like, put me in. Like I can coach better than this. And then you see the people walking out.
That's when I felt like, okay, there's some problems here behind the scenes.
It just didn't add up. So it was just trying to find out how and why that was happening.
Yeah, Amir, and there's no culture, no organization. It is a complete disaster. According to multiple sources, UNC has a divided locker room, a disorganized staff, and an overall failure to communicate.
We had our report on Monday, and then there was a series of events that followed where we learned of a fight in the locker room. And then what comes out is that there's breaking of rules.
Armand Hawkins was suspended. The reason, allegations of providing extra benefits.
Kind of a failure to implement Bill Belichick's NFL model into the college game. There seemed to be a lack of attention to detail on how they did it, which is ironic given Belichick's history of having the utmost attention to detail.
Pat Welter has done a wonderful job. He's all over this story.
I've been covering this team for 4+ years. I know a lot of people, and people are very, very upset. And when you look at the results on the field, when you're going to be the highest paid employee in the state and you're going to be one of the worst teams in all of college football. People deserve to know what's going on and why, and I think our reporting has shed a light on that.
How are you feeling walking into this right now?
What do you have to say to the claims that people are making in this building and around this program?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with all these people every day, coaches, players on the field. Our guys work hard. They have a great attitude, great energy, and we've shown a lot of improvement. You know, we've made a lot of improvement.
I mean, can you acknowledge, you're telling me that you believe this process is working?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a learning curve. We're all in it together, but we're making a lot of progress, and you know, the process will eventually produce the results that we want to produce, like they have everywhere else I've been.
So there was a little bit of an acknowledgement that at least he didn't know everything. But I think anybody watching could acknowledge that there's been a degree of arrogance and hubris in how the Belichick staff has come into the college game. That, oh, if we can do this at the NFL level, this is child's play to a certain degree, right?
It feels like they thought this was going to be easier than what it is.
And I've never worked on a story like that, where one person after another was not only willing to talk, they just kept dunking on the same person, and that's Michael Lombardi, the GM. They either completely missed on their evaluations or overconfident in the fact that they thought kids would just line up to play for Bill Belichick because of who he is.
This roster is not filled with NFL prospects. It's not even filled with guys who you think can compete in the ACC.
They finished the year 4-8 and missed a bowl game for the first time since 2018.
24/7 Sports rankings suggest they're going to sign a top 20 class. That's very good. The question is, are people going to have patience? Because high school players don't come in and, for the most part, dominate right away.
It's a big class, and we're excited about the players that have signed here and committed here. They will be a foundation for our program.
This is the first real time that coach and our whole staff have been able to build a roster in the manner in which we see it fit.
College football is insane right now. A winner will develop, but it's not going to happen overnight.
I've said before that we don't judge these things by the results on the field midway through the season or even after one season. So the change that Coach Belichick has brought to our program, the investment across the board that we've made, we think promises bright things for the future.
I find it hard to believe that a great teacher of football is not going to succeed at the college level. And if I'm wrong, I mean, what the hell? If I'm wrong, screw you all, right? I mean, I tried, right? Why can't we be great in football?